Okay, so I finally decided to do it. I am making a new series for Salty S60 called Salty Talk that I hope to do every Wednesday. One of the reasons why it took me so long to sort of launch this and go in this area was because, you know, I realized I was going to have to talk about some things that made me feel vulnerable, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to do that. And I know that there's going to be a lot of different type of women over 60 who may think differently than me, may have different life experiences than me. However, I really wanted to show up in this space to talk about how we should be evolving in this new phase in our life. I call it the crone phase. It's sort of that last phase of the three phases of womanhood. And I just wanted to explore even how style and fashion can, really help us evolve into the person we want to be by making the insides of ourselves match the outside of ourselves. And I wanted to talk about how, in that vein, we'll talk about things like, the Kibbe body styles. I got David Kibbe's new book. I'm not done with it, but I thought it would be fun to, like, as I go through the pages and discover things that I think are worth sharing with you, that we could talk about that. I also want to talk about how we need to nurture our souls at this time in our life. What can we do, the little things we can do for ourselves to feel better about ourselves, and just so many aspects of what it's like to age and how all of that affects us and how our attitude about aging can either help or hinder us. And so there's so much in the field of things to talk about for women over 60, and there's not many women in this space. So I hope that you will like this series, and at the end, leave me a comment and give me some thoughts about what you would like to see discussed on YouTube about aging and being over 60. Now, this first video I'm going to show you is it's kind of just rambling. It's kind of random because although I'm working on certain ideas and story ideas that I want to talk about each Wednesday, it was just something that was on my mind and I wanted to chat about it. And actually that may end up being how all these are. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching this first in this new series. And I look forward to your feedback. Today is just a day that I thought maybe I could just chat with you. Lady to lady, friend to friend. This is from all my 60 and aboves. I was just thinking about how some aspects of aging can just be really difficult for us to get some of the looks we want to get, be able to wear some of the clothes we like to wear. For example, I have very hooded lids. Now, I did not always have hooded lids, and I really didn't even notice it, honestly, until I was maybe about 55 or 56. I started noticing it was very difficult. And one thing that I'm having a struggle with is I am trying to, wear makeup, of course, when I am on camera, the days that I film. And I have a really difficult time getting any kind of definition to my eyes and to kind of lift up the corners of those eyes the way I would like to have them done. Now, I have watched several videos about women who also have the same issue, and how they, would take the line and just move it up the corner of the eye here, and and then fill it in with a little makeup in like a little triangle. You may know what I'm talking about. For me, I just, it's almost like the skin is so droopy and so wrinkly that I just really can't seem to get the effect that I'm going for. And one thing else I wanted to talk about was, now I have never been a big makeup girly. That's just never been me. And there's a reason for that. I had a beautiful complexion the entire time. I mean, really all through my life, I had a very pretty complexion. Now, I did get a lot of sun damage throughout my life, and I know that a lot of women our age also have that same issue because, sun protection just wasn't really talked about very often. And in fact, I think the only time we ever wore sun protection is like if you were going to the beach and the sun is just so strong on the water and you knew you were going to be out there all day, you would wear sun protection. But as the summer wore on and, you had that nice healthy tan, you really almost didn't even think that you needed to add sunscreen, because in our minds it was all just about, keep yourself from burning. So there's all these issues that I have with my skin, and I have watched several. Now I'm not somebody who is probably ever going to do any sort of, procedures, but I am very interested in the laser for the face, because I'm getting, when I say dark spots, mine turn up to be almost like red on my face, and I've got one that's pretty pronounced here in the corner of my eye, and that seems to be getting worse. I'm just, I'm a little lost, because, our generation did not focus a lot on procedures. It just wasn't, that was something that, only very, very wealthy people did, or people that were, their livelihood was their face, actresses, that kind of thing. So it's just kind of a weird time that we live in. And then I'm also seeing, I thought this was interesting, because I do watch a lot of YouTube. I enjoy learning from YouTube. I watch all sorts of things on YouTube, certainly not just fashion and style. And I have been, though, seeing a lot of these social commentaries from younger women talking about how everybody is starting to look a little bit like a clone. Because of the face filters that are being used on apps such as like Instagram. And I think, they do it on a lot of other programs as well, but that's the one that comes to mind the most for me. And, they talk about how people are losing their individuality. I have never been the type of woman to compare myself with other women. I never could do that, because I've always looked so different. You do see tall women now, but when I was growing up, you just really didn't see tall women. And, I had little quirks about, the way I looked and different things like that. Like I had really curly hair in the 70s when everyone had this sleek, straight Brady Bunch, Marsha Brady hair. And, I always felt like the odd girl out, because I just couldn't do that. I couldn't have that same hairstyle. And now here I am in, this sphere, and I just thought it would be good to talk about, how aging affects us, and, are we going to be that kind of woman who gets procedures? And I am not against procedures whatsoever. In fact, I may end up having to get that eye surgery for my eye at some point for vision purposes, because sometimes I can feel that it's blocking my vision, like I can't see peripherally, and that may have to be done at some point. But that was just one little area talking about skin, how it changes, how we can do makeup. I have watched multiple videos. I never did lip liners, but again, I'm on camera now, and I was trying to get my makeup to look a little more, I don't know, just bring it up a level. And I don't really understand what the trick is with the lip liner. I've tried getting it exactly on my natural lip outline, and then I've tried to overfill it maybe a little top and a little on the bottom, and I've had some success with that, but I really have an issue with even getting the eyeliner to look good when you have wrinkles around your mouth like I do. So I just thought that that was interesting, something I wanted to talk about that was on my mind, because I don't hear a lot about some of the things that we do, us older ladies. And there's not many of us in our 60s in this space. They all seem to be more in their late 40s or early 50s. And if you can recall, and you're in your 60s, I didn't really feel like I changed a whole lot in my 50s. Of course, the lines were getting a little more pronounced, but I still had the same energy levels that I had in my 40s. My body had changed a little bit after Now, I did not have horror stories on menopause. Mine was done fairly quickly within a couple months, and my symptoms were not that bad. And, so I don't have any stories with that. My body didn't, well, I've always been a heavy set woman. I mean, I've had my years of thinness where I basically just starved myself, literally starved myself. And I had the willpower to do that. I was young. I wanted to wear the things that I wanted to wear. I wanted to fit in. And, I wanted to be attractive. And I would just, the only way I seemed to be able to lose weight was to starve. Now, I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that in years. I do eat and eat well. But again, let me rein myself back in. The reason why I brought all that up was, there's all these little things that happen to the body that like nobody tells you about. And it's probably because it's something that we almost feel like we're too prideful to talk about it. And unless you have girlfriends that are also in the same range that you're in, age range that you're in, I think it's just something, it's almost like we have a shame about it, like the things that are happening to us. Like I recently, well, I think it's been 3 years now, where I had to have 4 of my front teeth pulled because I have periodontal disease. And that was so scary to me. So scary to me. I mean, I thought I was going to pass out the day I walked into the building to have the work done. Because I was like, I just can't do this. And then I've gone through this whole journey where, I can't talk sometimes with these, the piece that I have a bridge. And I make mistakes even when I'm filming, when I'm speaking, because I just, it doesn't fit me the way it probably should fit me. I've been back 2 different times to have that adjusted, and it's still a problem. Also, I've had to learn to, I can't go out in public and eat certain things because, food may get up in there, and I don't want to be fussing with my mouth. But these are all the things that happen to us. Like, so many things happen to us. The other thing that has happened to me is I was not a person that ever had to use a toothpick. I mean, rare occasion when I need a toothpick. And as we age, our teeth spread. And now I have just just eating in itself is like this major cleanup chore after I eat, because I just have so much space between my teeth. And these are things that nobody ever mentioned. And when it first starts happening, you think, is this my imagination? What is going on with me? And then the other thing that I have going on that I did not have until maybe about a year ago, this started to become a problem. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. I thought maybe it was my eyesight. I've had pierced ears, since I was a child. I can't get the metal in the hole in my earlobe, because your earlobe, the cartilage in there becomes much looser. That's why our ears get larger. And so finding that, tight spot and just putting your little thread from your earring right in there. Who would have known? But I have to say that I cannot put on earrings anymore unless I am sitting down at my vanity and I can locate that hole in the mirror, because otherwise it's kind of loose, and it makes getting my earrings done really, really difficult. So that's not to say that I don't want to depress anybody. I just thought it'd be nice to have somebody come on YouTube that is 60 and above, and you have these issues you're dealing with, and it's not like a poor me kind of thing, because I've had so many people in my life die. I'm grateful for every day that I have. It's just, it is different. And you do kind of reach a wall in certain areas of your life where you realize, okay, that's a physical reality. That's something I'm going to have to deal with. And for me, the other thing that I find is, for me is a little hard to accept, is I have a lot of clothing styles now. I do love the Coastal Grandmother. That is kind of my go-to style and has been for quite some time. But there's other times where, I'm kind of a chameleon, and then I also like to wear sort of these 90s simplistic type clothing. And everything that I'm seeing out there now it's all in a crop length, or it's all these body suits. It's all very body hugging. And yes, I do have a weight issue, but the thing is, when you get to be 60, unless you're somebody who's working out daily, you are not going to be as tight. Things aren't going to be in the same place. And so it does make it hard for me to wear the styles that I like, the styles that I want to explore, because, there's all these consideration now of where the body lays. Are my elbows sagging, or my knees sagging, or, I'm starting to get varicose veins, which that's something I never had before either. So there's all these changes that happen to us after 60 that can make it very difficult if we let it. And maybe that's the reason why I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to encourage you to not give up, and don't give up on yourself. It would be so easy for me to just throw up my hands and say, who cares at this age what I look like, or what I wear, or, how I present myself in the world. Does it really even matter? It does matter. It matters because when I feel schlumpy and I feel like I haven't even made an effort to, do something with my hair, or maybe do my nails, or put on a little bit of makeup. And I don't wear a lot of makeup, but I do wear a little bit of it. And I know that when I'm doing it for me, because I'm a single lady. I live by myself. I don't work in an office now. And there would be no reason for me to ever put on makeup except for, if I was going to a special occasion or had an event or something like that. But I find that it makes me feel worse about myself, about the whole aging process. I think aging is a beautiful thing. And I do agree with these, back to, I started to go off on that tangent earlier about these young YouTubers who are talking about how everybody has sort of turned themselves into a robot. Everybody looks the same. Where's authenticity gone? And I see that even in the 40-50 age group, because they all seem to kind of jump on the same trends and talk about trends a lot. I like to talk about trends too, just because it's fun. I like to see what's happening. Our clothing should be fun. It should make us feel good. And there's nothing wrong with feeding that little girl inside of us. Could we find something that just dazzles us, or we like it? It doesn't mean it's for us, but it is part of the charm and the fun of being a girl. But I just wanted to talk about a few of these little things that I have been observing. And I like to see that these young girls are becoming weary of everybody looking the same, or feeling like they have to do the same poses, or they have, and it's a big reason why a lot of these girls that spend so much time on social media are very unhappy about their own body and about their own self. You have to have a really, really good sense of yourself to survive in that kind of pressure cooker. And I don't think that it really ends for us as women, because we're always judged to where we're like, oh, she tries too hard, or who does she think she is, or she's too old to wear that, or she shouldn't be wearing this, or she shouldn't care so much about this. So I think that there's a slippery slope for us women, regardless of what our age group is. But I just wanted to encourage you today that, get up, keep trying, find something new to do, something interesting to do. This is all my new thing to do. I have just, had a lot of fun with it. I am still struggling with trying to get my lighting right on the camera, but I have had a lot of fun and a lot of frustration, of course, but I had to learn how to, edit videos. I had to learn all these different programs to do that. Then I had to learn how to edit. I have another program that I use to do like my thumbnails in, and create TikToks or Instagram posts. These are things that I did not know how to do, not using something. So that has been a real journey, and it has made me feel like I do know what I'm doing. I am getting there. I mean, I hope to eventually have it down to where, you know, I have kind of a brand. I have a following, but you are my following. You are the ladies that I want to talk to, because we're forgotten in the fashion world. And there's not many of us out here doing that nowadays. I mean, in this space. And it's really important that we find something that fulfills us, makes us feel relevant. You know, my channel is taking off very, very slowly. And I realize a lot of the videos, the quality of the videos weren't great. They're still not perfect. And a lot of people just get turned off that. The attention span is just really low now, and people just click right through it. Or there's lots of people that are drawn to those hauls that a lot of the women do. And I mean, I'm just going to be frank with you. I live by myself. I have never worked a high-powered job. I don't have that kind of income coming in. And I can't, not only do I not have a place to wear a lot of those clothes, but, you know, it kind of starts to feel icky if I buy a little bit too much. It's like, what are you doing? I mean, you can't possibly wear all these clothes. So that's another reason why a lot of my clothes are casual, and I try to stick to things that I know that I will wear. And, you know, if that's what you're looking for, you're not going to find that a whole lot here on my channel. If you're looking for the hauls and that kind of thing, I can't afford to do high-end clothing. I'm not a big makeup person. I do try to take care of my skin now that I'm older, and I will be the first to tell you that I did nothing to my skin. I don't even think I know that I didn't use lotion until I was like on my face, like facial moisturizer, until I was like, I was probably in my mid-40s when I finally started doing that. I mean, I have been slack. And a lot of that was, honest to God, when I was younger, I was blessed with really good genes. I had a great complexion. I didn't suffer from acne. I didn't suffer from, you know, anything particular on the face. So I took it for granted that it was always going to be that way. So obviously, you know, it has put me in a position where I have a lot of sun damage, lots and lots of sun damage. But I'm okay with that, because my memories of growing up on the water and doing the things that I love to do, it was worth it to me. It was worth it. Now, had I known that, you know, the sun could cause that much damage, like a lot of you in our age group, yes, I probably would have worn some kind of protection, but I don't regret those times. And I don't want you to walk away from this video thinking, wow, all these things happen to us when we get old. And, you know, how depressing is that? That's not how I look at it. I look at it as, I'm so blessed to still be here, to be breathing, to, you know, have people in my life who love me, and, you know, just doing the things that, you know, I think we getting our creative juices rolling. Like, I still feel like there's something I have to do. I do feel that way. I feel like I have something I need to do. And this has been so great for me, so wonderful for me to do these YouTubes, because it gives me a chance to think about what I want to cover, you know, who my audience really is. And I just wanted to put that out here today. I guess that's all I have to say for the day. Anyway, it's Wednesday. I don't have any clothes to show you. I just had some stuff on my mind, and I wanted to chat with you. So hopefully you will stick around, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.